All right, you probably know somebody in debt with student loans. It's a growing issue across the country, and a Macon native wants to wipe the slate clean. So we want to know, what do you think? Should student loan debt be forgiven? Let us know on our app or online at 13WMAZ.com/vote.
Wayne Johnson resigned from the U.S. Department of Education last week after being in charge of the federal student aid program for 2 years. Chelsea Bimeford sat down with Johnson today, and Chelsea, he has a plan to fix the student debt crisis.
Yeah, Frank and Lori, Johnson says the solution is simple. Just give every student $50,000. Now, really, that's part of Johnson's plan, and now he's seeking Georgia Governor Brian Kemp's appointment for a soon-to-be-open Senate seat. Here's how it would all work. Last week, Wayne Johnson stepped down from his post at the Department of Education, calling out our country's, quote, broken student loan program.
The student loan program, as it currently is informed, is a broken system. It was a inappropriate experiment for the federal government to be in the direct lending business.
Appointed by Education Secretary Betsy DeVos in 2017, the Macon native and Mercer graduate says he resigned after coming to this conclusion. Most of the $1.4 trillion owed by more than 40 million Americans will probably never be repaid.
We need to go ahead and wipe the slate clean with regard to the current amount of federal loans on the book.
They're good at kind of luring you in with like a pretty big scholarship or what seems like a big scholarship, but then in reality, when you kind of like compare it to your actual tuition and rooms and books, it's not everything that you really expected it to be.
Mercer sophomore Devin Dickinson is one of those millions who will owe money when he graduates.
It'll probably be several thousand.
He'd benefit from Johnson's plan to give every student $50,000.
Every person that graduates from high school would get $50,000 lifetime earnings credit that they could use for vocational schools, training schools, pursuit of normal academic type programs.
And if you've already paid off your debt, Johnson says you'd still be eligible for a $50,000 tax credit. But who would pay for all of this?
The net of it is I'm going to be asking for these corporations to make an investment in America that would equal 1% of their top line revenue.
According to Johnson, forgiving up to $50,000 for anyone with federal student loans would wipe out debt for 37 million Americans and over 1 million Georgians.
A lot of students now are like first generation students that have come here to put their families in better situations and stuff like that. And it's just kind of unfortunate when you see them, working hard to do that and then end up in even more debt. Now, Johnson says he thinks the student debt crisis can only be fixed with a fully dedicated United States senator working on it full time, which is why he's trying to gain Governor Kemp's appointment by the end of the year. Back to you guys over at the desk.
Thanks, Chelsea. To hear more from Johnson on why he's gunning for Johnny Isaacson Senate seat and his plans for the Peach State, you can find an extended interview on our website, 13WMAZ.com, a little later on tonight.
Taking a closer look at student debt, recent grads are sitting under a mountain of debt, $1.3 trillion in student debt nationwide.
That's an average of more than $32,000 in student loan debt per person, and that's only going up. Expected to hit a record $2 trillion nationwide by 2022.